Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. Today I'm going to be talking about the recently released Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. We're going to talk about the goods, some kind of nitpicks that I kind of have with this collection. Is this thing a lazy port? Is this lazy Konami? And you know what? I got some things to say about that because this definitely could be better. But if you're new to the channel, please do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe for all future content here on the channel. So to give a little context of how I'm going into this review, I am a massive Metal Gear fan, have been for decades now. One of the greatest moments in my life was when I got to meet David Hayter himself and actually got him to sign my original copy of Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation. This is my original copy of Metal Gear Solid 1 from junior high. I had David Hayter sign this thing, and this thing is ancient at this point. Like, it's decades old, but it's one of my holy grails in my collection, and I would never part with it. So I am a massive Metal Gear fan, as I've said, and this is something that I've been really looking forward to, is this Master Collection, because we haven't got anything in the Metal Gear universe since the god-awful Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain and the equally awful that Survivor game that came along shortly after. Both games are absolutely awful, don't belong in the conversation of Metal Gear Solid, in my humble opinion. So when Konami was like, hey, we're gonna do a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 and we're gonna do a remaster and a collection of the previous games, I was super excited for a lot of different reasons. For one, it's the first time that the original OG Metal Gear Solid, the game that started the Solid franchise, went to something other than PlayStation and went on the Xbox and Nintendo platform. So that was something that got me super excited about this collection. But a lot of people might be asking, Rob, you're an Xbox guy, right? Well, I do kind of like Xbox, yeah. Why did you get it on the PlayStation 5 and not the Xbox? Well, that's a very good question, Tim, and I will tell you why. Because you see, the Xbox Series X has this thing that PlayStation doesn't have called backwards compatibility. And guess what? Back in the PS3, Xbox 360 era, there were Metal Gear collections. Now, you can't pop this in your PS5 and play. No. Sony doesn't want you to do that. However, you can pop in this HD collection, which comes with 5 games that are in this collection, and you can just pop it in your Xbox Series X, and guess what? It works, and it's upscaled. Oh my God, who would have thought? So why would I purchase another copy of a Metal Gear Solid collection? Now, it's true, Metal Gear Solid 1 isn't on there, sure, absolutely, but we got Peace Walker, we have the 2 OG MSX games, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, so it just didn't make a lot of sense for me to pick up yet again another collection that I can already play on the Xbox Series X, so instead I just opted to get the PS5 version, and eventually I would probably end up getting the Switch version later on down the line. So enough with the antics, enough with me rambling on, let's talk about the game in question. So the one thing that got on my nerves from the very beginning was the fact that nothing was on the disc. You have to download everything. Each game has its own individual tile, and you have to download not only each game, but each version of the game. If you want to watch the graphic novel, you have to download each version of those graphic novels. You have to download everything. You just can't simply just insert it and start playing in 5 minutes. Everything has its own download. Everything has its own launcher. That is absolutely ridiculous and very sloppy. I don't know what Konami thought they were doing. That is absolutely stupid. You can look at any other collection of games, whether it be like the Kingdom Hearts collection or maybe the Cowabunga collection. All the games are in that one launcher. You launch the game, and guess what? You get to go through and pick what you want to play. With this, nah. You pop it in, it just starts to download every single game in its own separate tile. So you just can't simply go back to a main menu. You have to go your PlayStation home page, then go to the other app, launch that app. I did have a lot of problems with these apps crashing, and I kind of had to like stop them, close them, restart them. It was driving me nuts. And then to watch the graphic novels and do a lot, like listen to the music and stuff, you have to download all that. So meanwhile, I have like 5 or 6 different downloads going on at once. Mind you, they don't take that long, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, but it's more about the principle of the thing, right? If you put it in, you have one launcher. I don't mind downloading the stuff. Okay, you want me to download? That's fine. Make it one launcher. Make it like you just hit the icon, boom, it pops up. I then get to choose what game I want. Rather than have so many different tiles, it makes the homepage look absolutely messy. And at the end of the day, it's absolutely unnecessary. With that said, that is my biggest pet peeve with this collection. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that Konami went this way, and you need to fix this when you do the volume collection too. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the games themselves, because a lot of people I've seen on the internet kind of griping, oh my god, this is a piss poor port. You know, they didn't really try. I don't understand what you guys thought they were going to do. Right, this is a port of the remasters. They weren't going to go in and upscale these things to 4K. They weren't going to do all new texture mapping. They weren't going to do all that. They were just simply re-releasing the previous ports. And if you go into that knowing that's what you're going to get, you're going to be happy because they have great stuff in here. They got this master book that goes through the whole timeline of the Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid franchise. You have soundtracks. I was listening to the Sniper Wolf song for like 15 minutes last night because it's an awesome soundtrack. But yeah, I don't know what people actually thought they were going to get. The only game I do have nitpick about is, again, the original Metal Gear Solid. I love that game, but let's be honest, that game did not age well in the aesthetic of it. You know, you could easily smooth things out, do something. We see Final Fantasy do that with a lot of their collections. You can go in and smooth things out a little bit, not have it so blocky and textured. And I don't know, maybe you should have licensed it out and somehow got something with Nintendo and made an agreement to put Twin Snakes on here as well. So at least players will have an option. Hey, do you want to play the OG, which is phenomenal? I still think it's one of the best and greatest games of all time. Or you want to play something that looks a little bit more modern with the Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. So that is something that is a little disappointing to me personally. I was really hoping that they would just fix it up a little bit, clean that game up a little bit. You could have threw a filter on there just to kind of smooth it out. I'm not asking you to go through and do a complete remaster like Nintendo did with Metroid Prime or anything like that. Just kind of clean it up just a tad. But with that said, game still runs amazing. And that goes the same as Metal Gear Solid 2. Played that a bunch, still runs absolutely amazing, 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Metal Gear Solid 3, same thing, 60 frames per second, 1080p on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. These games run amazing. I played a little bit of Snake's Revenge, a little bit of the MSX games, and all the games just look and run the way they're supposed to. Now, that is what makes me happy. So really, what I'm trying to say is, unless you're a Metal Gear fan, I don't know if you're really going to enjoy this collection. I feel like this is a collection for diehard Metal Gear fans that have been wanting to play these games on modern consoles. That's personally what I wanted, and that's what they gave me. And I'm glad to have that. Other than the sloppy launcher, I really have no complaints about the game itself. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, this is just a cash grab. You know, they're just doing this. Yeah, sure. But you know what? It's a business. And a lot of these companies do these things as cash grabs. That's how they build money in order to fund other projects. So yeah, I'm just happy to have the option to play this on modern consoles. And I think it's a really good collection. There's definitely things that Konami needs to work on moving forward with Volume 2. But I'm really happy with what I have. I like all the different versions I get to play with different languages. The games still run and still play as great as they did back then. And it's just a phenomenal collection, in my opinion, other than the fact that you have that crappy layout in the beginning and no launcher. That's really my only nitpick, other than Metal Gear Solid 1 being a little dated at this point. I wish they would have stuck a filter. Other than that, It's a phenomenal collection, and once I finish Spider-Man 2, because I'm still in the process of playing Spider-Man 2, once that is done, I am dedicating all my time to running through all these games, starting with the MSX Metal Gear all the way up to Metal Gear Solid 3, and I cannot wait for the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 and Volume Collection 2. That's the one I'm most intrigued in, and I hope Konami starts giving us stuff like the Game Boy Color game, maybe Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2. Those are all great games. So anyway, guys, that's my honest opinion on this collection. If you're a Metal Gear fan, I think you're going to enjoy it. If you're looking for something better, then I think you're just going in with way too much expectation, because they were never going to do that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time.